Time now to go inside out with our SNY NBA insider Ian Begley. And Ian, as expected, OG Anunoby declined to exercise the 2024-25 player option on his contract, so he will be an unrestricted free agent. Who do you expect to be the Knicks' main competition in these sweepstakes, and what kind of a deal do you think New York will offer to keep Anunoby?
You're looking at Philadelphia, Eamon, because if Philadelphia cannot get Paul George from the Clippers, then they pivot, and I think they will pivot hard to Brandon Ingram, OG Anunoby, and other wings, but I think Anunoby is high on their list. People in Philly have long seen him as a great addition if they can get him, and Philadelphia has max cap space, so they can give Anunoby a max deal, 4 years, I think around 181. Knicks can go 5 years around 240, so they can, if they want to go to the max, they can really exceed Philly. I think there's a number where they'd like to stay under if they can, but I think at the end of the day, you're probably looking at a 5-year deal that starts between $35 and $38 million. Maybe there's some games played incentives there, but I think that's where OG will end up.
Bottom line, OG is going to get paid this summer. Now, the draft starts on Wednesday. The Knicks have the 24th and 25th picks in the first round, the 38th in the second. Who are some names we should have on our radar, especially for those first-round picks?
You know, they had IU big man Kel'el Ware in there recently, and so he should be around that area where the Knicks are, maybe a little ahead of that. And I just wonder if they feel like maybe Isaiah Hartenstein's not coming back, maybe Mitchell Robinson is going to get moved, then do they take a big on draft night because they know there's going to be movement at the center position. Ryan Dunn, Long Island product, is somebody they had in, very good defensively. Shot needs work. I don't know if he'll be there for them at 24 or 25, but I would also look at the shooters in this draft, and if one of them is there, I wonder if the Knicks jump on them. Also intriguing, Enrique Freeman out of Akron has been a fast riser in this draft. He was also with the Knicks recently, and he's done really well in a lot of his workouts. He might be there with the Knicks at any 3 of these picks, and I would think they'd give him a look. Last one, Antonio Reeves, Kentucky guard. He's my sleeper for number 38.
And Nick, looking at Kentucky, I thought it was Villanova only for the Knicks. All right, we just heard Chelsea say that it looks like Donovan Mitchell will be staying in Cleveland thanks to a hefty extension. So I guess we can finally eliminate the possibility of him to the Knicks anytime soon. But what other moves could Leon Rose and company be looking to pull off this offseason?
Well, you're looking at Paul George, right? I think in many ways the offseason starts there. Is he going to get the 4-year max that he's looking for from the Clippers? If not, is he going to get it from Philadelphia? Is that where he goes? The Knicks have long had George on their radar going back to last offseason. They even talked about him during the season prior to the trade deadline. I'm not sure how comfortable they were then going full 4 years for Paul George, but I wouldn't rule anything out at this point with George and the Clippers. It starts there, and then really there's not much on the board in terms of big names like the Karl Anthony Townses, the Mitchells you mentioned, the Mikal Bridges. I don't think any of those players will get moved, so maybe the Knicks hold on to their powder this offseason until you look ahead to maybe the trade deadline next year. But there's free agency that they have to take care of. The high priority is OG Anunoby, Isaiah Hartenstein. I think there's been contact between the player side and the team side on Anunoby, and I think they still feel like they're in a pretty good place there. Hartenstein, it's the unknown because they can only go to a certain number on Hartenstein, and other teams with cap space can come way over the top. So that's something to keep an eye on, even as we get towards the draft, because there are moves that could be made around that center position for the Knicks.
Back in April, you reported that Jalen Brunson could help the Knicks out by signing a contract extension this summer, not waiting until 2025. What's the latest on that situation?
I think he'll be very open to listening to the Knicks and listening on their pitch and kind of where they end up at in terms of the 4-year, $156 million max extension Brunson could sign. He'd be doing the Knicks a huge favor financially if he did go ahead and sign that deal, because as a free agent next summer, he could earn, I think it's $200 plus million over 5 years. So Knicks would be getting a big discount from Brunson. I think he'll be very open to listening. I think the Knicks have a pretty good chance of getting that done if they play their cards right.
Sounds like it's going to be a busy summer for the Knicks. And one Ian Begley. Ian, thanks for joining us here on Honda Sports Night.